man, everybody. What's happening? We are the Honolulu Blues boys, Nick, Adam, and Julius, back at it again. And man, oh man, Nick, every time I hear that intro, I'm always just like, shaking my head. Great intro. If you guys are just tuning in now, rewind it, listen to the intro again. It's awesome. It's relatively new, so we're enjoying it. But boys and girls, we got a lot to talk about. We had some not new signings, re-signings, I guess. Some injuries, unfortunately. Some camp talk. We got all sorts of goodies for the Detroit Lions. But I got a little different path I'm going to veer off on. And that is talking with a foe of ours in the Green Bay Packers, who just made Jordan Love the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. Boys, what do we think about that? Because for me, I was like popping champagne. I know Jordan Love looked great last year. I know he's got all the tools, Matt LaFleur, he's a great coach, blah, blah, blah. But man, oh man, I have seen enough one-hit wonders, dudes having great, half seasons, one season. And granted, they didn't earn the biggest contract in NFL history, but they earned a big payday. And so my initial thought is, do you guys think that, I'll start with you, Julius, do you think that Jordan Love has, will get a mindset that not necessarily something that he's thinking about, but because he's getting so much money, do you think this will impact how he plays, where he got the bag? He's not striving to, play for money now. It's just rings. And do you think this will change his play at all? Or do you think he'll, stay consistent and be, I guess, an elite quarterback?
Listen, I want to be the first to say live on air that I am not the biggest Jordan Love believer. I think very lowly of Jordan Love. I feel like he gave the Packers 6 decent games last year, and it got the fan base a little hype. They beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. I feel like that was a big thing for him and the Packers. They barely lost to the Niners, couldn't make it to the Lions for the NFC Championship game. But I need to see more from Jordan Love. I don't think he's worth the money. I think that this is a quarterback-driven league, and he just so happened to force their hand. I think it was reports saying he wasn't practicing until he got a new contract. He kind of already knew he had the leverage. Man, I'm just glad that the Lions went in that situation with a young quarterback, because I'd be scared. Literally, if I was a Packer fan right now, I'd be terrified that I don't fully trust Jordan Love yet, and we're making him the highest paid player in his position in NFL history. I'm just not sold on the guy yet. I honestly, I can see disaster for the Packers.
I'm hoping for it. Nick, Jordan Love, highest paid quarterback now. Do you think this is going to impact his play at all? Because we've seen lots of players that get a payday. Kenny Galladay, especially. I know different positions, but, all sorts of different athletes. Like Dwight Howard's another guy that come. Albert Hainsworth. Names pop into your head of these superstar athletes that get a massive contract. And then next thing you know, they just start to slowly decline. And granted, Jordan Love is still relatively young, but do you think this will affect his play at all, where he got so much money, he's just like, I'm set?
To answer that, no, I don't really think so. He seems pretty cool, calm, collective, kind of same boat as Tua. But there are multiple quarterbacks that we've seen do very successful, especially towards the latter end of a year. And I've said this for our show. We've seen Lions teams do very good at the end of a year. And like I say, it never just rolls over. It's never like that. You are who you are. They're banking on Jordan Love. It's weird because they're almost banking. I think Green Bay wants to make sure that they have what Pittsburgh had for a long time, which was just 3 quarterbacks for 30 plus years. And they're banking that Jordan Love is that guy. And we saw him be very successful. I believe he finished the year last year. He only did really good for the last half of the season, but I believe he finished the whole year didn't he finish with the 3rd most passing touchdowns in the NFL? Something of that. Am I wrong?
I had to have some good stat like that to,
I'm pretty sure just even overall, throughout the whole year, he finished very good. We saw him play successful in the playoffs, but 1 was against Dallas and 2 was a rainy day against San Fran. We saw him beat the Lions after he started getting his mojo with them. There's a lot to be said here. It's just different that we're Lions fans. We don't think like that. We're like, bah, my God, 8 games. That's all he's been successful for. Like, I would never pay that guy. And it's because we don't have the longevity or anything of that to the confidence to do something like that. We're like the prove it. We need to see it to be proven. Where Green Bay is like, no, we don't need to see him go to the Super Bowl year one. We know what he's got. It's just like Brett Favre. It's just like Aaron Rodgers. Like, they have this confidence that they go in after. But I hate the Packers. I hate them more than anything. I absolutely am hoping for Jordan Love to be a complete bust. We've seen guys like Nick Foles do really good towards the end of a season. We've seen guys like Kevin Cobb do really good and go to another team. We saw Matt Flynn do really good in one game and get paid. Like, we've seen guys do really well towards the end of a season and then just kind of fall off the map. The thing with Love is he's got the youngest corp around him. His wide receiving corp is so young. They're only getting better. They got rid of Aaron Jones, but replaced him with Josh Jacobs, went out and drafted Marshawn Lloyd. They got a good team. I don't think they're better than the Lions. I absolutely think they're a wild card team. And I think it's smart to pay Jordan Love right now. And I know we just paid Goff, and this is crazy talk, but there is a possibility in 2 years we're doing the same thing with Hendon Hooker. There's a possibility. I'm not saying that I want Goff to go down or that I want Hooker to come in, but if the circumstances fall and the stars align for Hooker, where he comes in the back half of a season, we'll say in 2 years, and Goff is down to his last couple years of his contract, and Hooker just balls out for the last 8-9 games, and he's got 1 year left before his contract's up, there's a chance we Alex Smith this, trade away Goff, and pay Hooker without ever seeing a full season. That's a huge, probably, I don't know, that's a one in
Nick's in the multiverse right now.
I'm in the multiverse, but ultimately, there's that chance. So it's crazy to say that they did that, but who knows if we're not in that same boat in a few years, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both you guys. But the Detroit Lions had some news.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
And you know what's a better re-signing? I mean, I shouldn't even say it's good, but a great re-signing for the Lions. Taylor Decker, friend of the show, back with us. A 3-year, $60 million contract, 31.83 guaranteed. This kind of sinks his timeline in which he will be retiring with the Lions. Yeah.
Tell him to bring me my money.
That was Decker, man. He was good for him, man. He has been through the thick and thin, through the Patricia era. I want to say he's the only guy. There might be someone else that was, kind of stringing along that has been through the Patricia era, made it through the Campbell era, and is still with us today. So Decker, to just be able to go through all that, see where he's at now, this Lions team looking better than ever, Super Bowl contenders, coming off 2 playoff wins, good for him. But I got to ask, does this mean that Penei Sewell is going to be, our permanent right tackle? Because there were some murmurs if Decker were to, retire or the Lions just kind of let him go, that Sewell would move to left tackle. So throw it back to you, Nick. Do you think we see any type of change in the future of Sewell moving to that left tackle position? Or do you think that would only happen until, unless Decker retires?
Just before I get into answering that, congratulations, Taylor Decker, the most deserving on our team for an extension. We didn't know if he was going to get it because of the amount of extensions we had already given out this offseason. So very, very happy for him and his family. Congratulations to his family. I believe they announced they're going to have their second kid is on the way.
Yep.
So congratulations to just Decker and the Decker family. He opens our show every single time you watch our show. He is the first person of the first clip of our intro. It was so fun interviewing. He is such a good guy, genuine, bona fide, awesome dude who deserves nothing but the utmost respect from the entire city of Detroit. So congratulations to him. To answer your question, I do think Taylor Decker is, I don't want to say stuck at right tackle, but is our right tackle until Decker's gone. There is no reason to move them. There were murmurs, but ultimately, I expect Sewell to play until he's 35 plus, possibly 38, 39. Hold on, Zach Martin, Jonathan Ogden, Willie Rofe type of guy. He's still extremely young. I know he's getting now. We've had him for 3, but when we drafted him, he was 19 or 20 years old. The dude is just young. So even if he stays another 3 years at right tackle and Decker retires in 3 years, I think he'll move to left tackle immediately after Decker's gone. He is our left tackle of the future, but there ain't no reason to fix what's not broke. So right now we're just going to keep running out what we have. We saw Sewell play left tackle, I believe, last year, right? Didn't he go sit in one game over there?
I think right? Yeah. It was either last year or the year
before.
Decker,
the right tackle?
He went
right
Decker tackle.
Decker was hurt, I believe.
Yeah, Decker was hurt, and Sewell went and played left tackle, and we had like Skip play right tackle or whatever.
Yeah.
It was either 2 years ago or last year. And that's what we'll continue to do. Colby Sorsdale has looked very good. He can play tackle. He can play guard. If Decker goes down with injury because he's a little older and that happens, or even just like a day off, a game off, like give this man a rest because our expectations are Super Bowl, not just winning the regular season, then we can move Sewell over to left tackle and continue to get him just a few reps here and there. He's such a sponge, Sewell is, that he'll adapt wherever we put him. I swear to God, we could make him center and he would just be the best center in the NFL. Like, I wholeheartedly believe that. We could put him at tight end. He already is probably better than half of the tight ends that are on NFL teams right now. If you guys watch the NFL Top 100, shout out Penei Sewell for being ranked number 22nd or number 22. But in that, they had like a full 30-second segment of him moving in motion as the tight end. So it's just super cool to see that. We've seen him catch the ball. Sewell can do everything. Let him play right tackle for 3 years, and we'll move him to left tackle when Decker's gone.
Thoughts, Julius?
Shout out to Deck. He's a longest tenured Lion at this point, and he's a lifetime Lion. I'm gonna nickname Deck Taylor Decker Mr. Lion on this show right now, because that's how I feel about him and what he means to the team, the city, and I just want to congratulate him on getting that bag and staying home. Now, Penei Sewell, I mean, he's the best backup left tackle in the league, just like Nick said. I mean, if we need him, we got him. But he's a dog over at right tackle. I mean, they still design the offense around him when he's on the right side, as if he was on the left side. So he can handle any pass blockers. He's the best run blocker in the league. He's the best offensive lineman in the league. I think he's getting lowball, Penei Sewell. I think he's getting lowball by the national media. I think 22 is too low in the top 100. I think he's better than Trent Williams. He's better than Christian Darrisaw. He's better than all of them. And it's okay. It's okay because he's going to show them. I'm confident Penei Sewell's going to show them. But Taylor Decker, I don't mind having him at left tackle for another 3, 4, 5 years, especially if we win in Super Bowls and divisions along the way. This ain't the same old Lions, baby.
Also, too, don't we – I could be wrong on this, but doesn't it seem like Nick Bosa, Max Crosby, Joey Bosa, the best edges, Montez Sweat, play on the right side? Like, why in the world? Like, I get that Jared Goff has the side and you want to protect your blind side with your best player, but if the opposing defenses understand that most teams put their best tackle at left tackle, so then put their best edge at right tackle, why in the world would we move him? You know what I mean? If anything, even after Decker retires, we'll say 3 years down the road, teams are still putting their best guys on the right side. Leave him at right tackle and make the defense try to adjust to that and try to put the edge on a different side than he's used to. But Aiden plays on the right side. I mean, and they'll move around most of them, but a lot, I would say if you looked at the stats, and this is just off of my gut, most of the best edges play most of their time on the right side against the right tackle to get the best outcome for them. So why not have the best right tackle in the NFL?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But to play devil's advocate, doesn't Hutch line up on the left side?
I don't think so.
He does a lot. He does a lot.
He lines up on the right side a majority of the time.
Right side, okay.
Against the right tackle. I don't know which way we're looking.
Yeah, I know.
He lines up against the right tackle more times than not.
Okay.
And Davenport,
which is a right end.
Yeah. Crosby, Garrett, Watt, all those guys are right ons too. So yeah, it does make sense that Sewell's going up against the best of the best. While we're on the topic of offensive linemen, boys, are we not going to see Frank Ragnow in the top 100?
No.
Sadly, no.
It is embarrassing, man. You get through
Breaking news.
Whoa! Clarity to the Dodgers. There we go. Group chat's blowing up right now. Hopefully,
I was wondering what was.
Breaking news!
I had to throw that in there. Breaking news: Jack Flaherty from the Detroit Tigers has been traded to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Ooh. And my boys are saying
an In-N-Out Burger. If we got In-N-Out Burger in the deal, then I'm happy.
That's
you
fair.
Know what I mean?
I'll take that.
In-N-Out into Detroit, and I'm happy.
In-N-Out in Detroit. All right, not bad. Trying to figure out what we got for him. But speak about Ragnow, yes, this was probably the biggest snub on this list. And I'm not just being biased. Like, if you were to put him at 97, 98, 80s, whatever, I would be okay. But to like completely put him off the list, and granted, there still is a small little chance that he comes in at, right on 20. I give it like the Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance because the list hasn't been announced. I'm like, so you never know, but it is unlikely. Part of this is I do believe that Decker should have been on this list. Ragnow should have been on this list. Decker actually probably too. But Ragnow, I feel like he's a guy that's very calm, keeps to himself. He's not out, socializing with the defenders. You don't get a lot of guys, nose tackles going up against him. So whoever he's blocking sometimes can change. Sometimes it's the DT on the left side. Sometimes the dude on the right side. Sometimes the linebacker coming up the middle. So there's no one true position that gets the centers, full effect. And honestly, if you look at this NFL 100 list, I don't think there has been a center. I may be wrong, but I can't recall one off the top of my head. And if that's the case, if we don't see a single center make this list, all right, I'm not too mad. But Ragnow, man, oh man, we heard about this dude playing through like broken ankle, sprained finger, just every single injury in the book. He was playing through it. This dude is a just hard-nosed, grade A football guy type player. And he absolutely deserved to be on the top 100. So if we were creating a non-biased, realistic spot for Frank Ragnow, where do you guys think he would rank? Because I don't think he would be above Penne, but I think he would be close.
Julius, you want to start?
I'll probably have him top 35, in the 30s. In between, I would say between the 30 and 40 range on the top 100 players in the NFL. I believe he is the best center in the league following Jason Kelsey's retirement, bar none. And he's also one of our longest tenured players, been through thick and thin with us, tough as nails. I mean, he's just an amazing player. Any team in the league would love to have him. He has to be a top 40 player.
Yeah. Center. It's kind of like the fullback of the offensive line, right?
Yeah.
Very love. They do so much, especially Ragnow. He's been here for so long. His toe injury keeps him off the field every once in a while. I mean, I wouldn't put him in the top 100. And I would hope that gives him the utmost inspiration for the motivation over the final 2 years of his career, because Lord knows he ain't playing he's not playing for 3 more years. So we got 2 more years out of him, maybe just 1. I don't know. It depends on what happens this year. And use that, dude. Just go use that. Who cares about where you rank in the top 100? I think he's very good. I think he's extraordinary. But based off of last year, I'd almost put Decker over him in the top 100. I love Ragnow. Don't get me wrong. I think he's the glue. I think he's the bass drum. He's the heartbeat of our offense.
Position value?
Is it? Kinda. But, I mean, he did have to. I mean, how many sacks did Aaron Donald have in our wild card game against Jared Goff? None. And where does he come right up? The gut. And who's blocking him? Friggin' Dan Skipper and, King of War Ragnow. So give me Ragnow, right on the cusp of the top 100 players in the NFL. And I'll probably get shamed for that from NFL fans. We just lost a lot of viewers, but that's just how I am, man. Use that as motivation, dude.
I will say, Frank Ragnow, 3 of his last, I guess he's played, 3 of his last 4 seasons. He's played 14 games or more. And the 3 seasons he's played 14 games, and granted, take it with a grain of salt, he's made the Pro Bowl, which, I know you can make an alternative. It's a little bit easier nowadays, but nonetheless, there's only, I think, 2 centers on each Pro Bowl team. So I feel like he's definitely a top 100 guy. I don't think, top 50, maybe. Okay, here's where he has the caliber to be a top 50 guy. Now, with his injury history and a straight season, I don't think so. But I think there are certain games where you're like, oh my gosh, this dude's a, top 40, top 30 player, just how, tough he's been playing, what he's getting through. So Ragnow, kind of bummed to see him not on the list. I definitely feel like he should have been on there. But another kind of snub-ish, Amon-Ra. I feel like 22 or 23, whatever he was at, I kind of found it interesting that the Lions players went back-to-back twice. I feel like when people were penciling names, they were, they went Jared Goff. Oh, yeah, Hutch. And then Amon-Ra. Oh, yeah, Sewell, and they were all back-to-back. So Amon-Ra at 22 or 23, I can't remember which. I feel like he should be a top 15 player. Amon-Ra is just so good, just a tactical magician. He has the beaten soul for a wide receiver group, Mr. Reliable. And I'm curious to see what wide receivers are going to be over him. If it's only like Jefferson, Tyreek, and, maybe like Jamar Chase or A.J. Brown or CD, then I'll be okay. But I definitely think Amon-Ra is a top 5 wide receiver. I think he should have been at least in the top 20, but hope he takes this with a grain of, I hope this pisses him off, drives him a little extra motivation. I hope his dad's seeing this, tell him to go drink another Coke to get better or something. But ultimately, this list doesn't mean a whole lot. It's probably at the end of the day, a popularity contest at the end. I feel like if you have a lot of friends in the NFL, you're going to be voted on. And if you don't talk to anyone in the NFL, like I expect Ragnow does, then you probably won't, have that outside chance to make it. So, Nick, do you think Amon-Ra was, he gets snubbed, but do you think he was ranked badly, I guess?
No, I think he's dead on with what the world thinks about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Me personally, I would put him up there. I'd put him as the best wide receiver behind Tyreek Hill. I'd say he's better than Justin Jefferson. I don't care. But so I would put him in the top 10 because Lord knows there's going to be 2 receivers in the top 10. A.J. Brown did already beat him out. He was 21st. Amon-Ra was 23rd. But yeah, this is just a homecoming vote. Who's going to win homecoming award this year? It's all it is. Doesn't matter. All it is 22 more names for him to memorize and say as a nightly prayer and a early morning motivation saying. So give him all the stuff he needs, dude. You don't want him to go to the Pro Bowl? That's fine. We'll take him in the All-Pro. You don't want to put him in the top 20 and the top 100? That's fine. We'll make him number 1 this year with his 2,000 yards. I ain't worried about it.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Honestly, though, the NFL still got the Lions up, bro. Like, they still think we the same old Lions. They are lowballing us in so many ways on this list. And I understand it's just a player popularity contest. But at least it's more bulletin board material because I swear on my life, was Amon-Ra 23 and Panay 22?
Yes.
They think they're cool sneaking 2 Lions in right there at the end of the top 25. The Lions are about to win the Super Bowl this year. And then I guarantee we have all kind of Lions in the top 10 all of a sudden. Oh, the Lions are great. We always knew it. We'll see.
That was a grade A media.
Hey, we got to get that soundbite, bro.
That was like a Mike Valenti right there of just like, I told you guys.
They're still sleeping on us, man.
Yeah, they are. They always, and in fact, I like it like that. I do not want to be the darlings, the heroes. Let us be slept on. Everyone wants to talk about how Green Bay is going to win the division and Philly's back and San Fran never left. Like, cool. We'll just go in there and continue to dominate week after week. We're going to go undefeated this year. We're going to win the Super Bowl. It's going to be the best year of our lives. And then hell will freeze over and we'll just kind of end. Did you guys hear about this conspiracy? It's called the Pope conspiracy, where they have in the Vatican, they have like a spot for every Pope that's ever been. And they had a spot for every Pope that will ever be. And it's down to its last thing. And they said they're not going to add any more because the world will end when that last Pope becomes. And if you look at like this book that was written back in like, I don't even know, man, freaking 800 AD. I don't know. But a long time ago, they predicted every single pope up until the pope right now, Pope John Paul III or whatever it is. And after that pope, there's one more, and then it just stops and it says end of world. There's two different different things coming in. And what I'm figuring is that's when we hit the three-peat. We're going to hit the three-peat 2027, and the world's just going to end, dude. So
That's
just
it right there, man. That's it.
Pope theory. Google it. It's called the Pope theory, but I'm gonna make it the Lions theory. That's gonna be our three-peat, the first ever three-peat. Like KC might do it this year, but the Lions will beat them, and then we'll win again, and we'll win a third time, and the world will end. Just keep that in mind, guys.
I love it. The Pope theory. All right, and one more time.
Breaking news! Breaking news!
Bears are trash.
Indeed, that's no breaking news. That's just everyday news, Julius. But no, the real news: John Kaminsky, torn ACL, likely done for the season. This one's interesting because he was, defensive lineman, kind of had a down year last year, but had showed some potential for the Lions. But he was, ironically, one of the guys that I left off of our 53-man roster. So not victory lapping that at all, but I feel like he could have been a cap casualty. So at the end of the day, I don't think it'll be as bad as what it seems. Yes, there was a chance that Kaminsky, turns back the page and plays like he did 2 years ago. But it'll be interesting to see where the Lions go with this. I'm not exactly sure how it all works with, cutting guys who got injured, putting them on IR when it's their last year of their contract or whatever. So I do think he will go on some sort of IR where the Lions will be able to keep him. And I don't know. But ultimately, Julius, do we think that John Kaminsky, give me a grade on how big of a blow this is? A being the highest, F being like, that's all right.
I'm gonna say it's like a D plus. It's not that. It's not.
Let me ask this real quick. What would be more impactful, the Badgley injury or Kaminsky? Who are we gonna miss more?
Oh, that's a great question, Adam. That is a great question because I cannot tell you. I have not saw our new kicker kick field goals in the NFL yet, so I can't say that losing Badgley. Badgley might have been our hope at a few games, winning a few games. I don't know. I gotta wait and see our new kicker. I'm not hyping. I see the training camp videos. I see the 60-yard field goals, but I need to see it in the game. So until then, I'm gonna say Michael Badgley because John Kaminsky was a backup defensive lineman, and there were guys vying for his position. We didn't even know if he was gonna make the team. I thought we were talking about it. And now when he has been on the field, especially his first season with us, he was very effective. Getting that Dan Campbell kind of culture that Aiden Hutchinson fire lit. John Kaminsky was very useful for that first season he was with us. Last year, not so much. And this year, he was like on the bubble. So I'm going to say Michael Badgley until I see our new kicker because Kaminsky, if anything, it gives Levi Orzaworki a chance to pop his head out and make the team. I don't know. I got a lot of respect for John Kaminsky, but he's a reserve defensive lineman.
And correction on that, it was a torn MCL, not ACL. So like a little bit better, but anytime you're tearing a ligament, that's not the best.
Yeah, real quick, this girl wants to say hi. Say hi. All right, there
Hi,
you go.
JJ.
Hey.
She was like, "I want to be on your show one day." Kaminsky embodies grit.
Yeah.
He was what
That's a good point.
Dan Campbell was looking for, like when we started this entire process. And it stinks that we lost him, but I don't know. It does stink that we lost him. I just wish at this point, God, I love we have Terrion Arnold and Enos Rakestraw, but man, oh man, it wouldn't mind having an edge right now. I wouldn't mind having an edge. So this stinks. Hopefully we signed a few other backup players that that we thought were gonna be battling for the roster now might have a better chance to make the roster and or be impactful on our team throughout the 2024 season. I think it's worse that we lost Comiskey than it is that we lost Badgley. Ultimately, we're going to see how it goes. I know he had a down year last year, but the dude was a warrior. Once you saw him playing with the freaking club, which I just always love when dudes do, you're just like, yeah, that's my boy, country strong. That's my guy out there to prove himself. So we'll see. It's just time to step up, man. Next man up. Do your job.
So according to Booner Sports, our good friend of the show, he's got an outside chance to play in the playoffs. So when the Lions are playing the Super Bowl, he will likely be available. And when you get that far in that season, all depth is good depth. If we can have a dude that knows the playbook, knows the system, rotating in, because now it's almost like we have to thrust Davenport out there. He's a new guy. Hopefully he's good. He was talking about he was playing with some injuries last year, so that could have been why he had a slower year. But yeah, both of these guys suck. Unfortunately, this is just a part of the NFL and part of training camp preseason. We're going to see more injuries. There's going to be hope.
Ragnow had a freaking roller coaster. It sounded like that dude got he walked off limping, stopped practicing, and then 20 minutes later came back. So
I say we tell Ragnow, hey, you go fish for the rest of this OTAs, and you enjoy yourself. When game time comes, Sunday Night Football against the Rams, we'll holler at you, and you can bring us some of them big old giant trouts and salmons he loves catching.
Guys, can you believe that it's only 9 days away from our first preseason game?
Sneaking up so fast, man.
So quick. Against the Giants, too. Malik Neighbors probably be playing.
Hey, Comiskey could help out as a coach player while he's hurt. He's kind of got that swagger about him where he could still be a locker room presence without playing. Yep. And I feel like we didn't get that much production from him last year on a production level. But his presence alone is just, like you said, it's Dan Campbell, it's grit. And reports out of camp, Marcus Davenport has that kind of Dan Campbell grit, John Comiskey, I'm a bum rush your ass into the ground kind of force and energy. Maybe Davenport is the new commish.
I tweeted out, I said he's the sneaky assassin, dude. Watch out for Davenport. Not a lot of people loved the signing. I might be a little bit more bullish on him because I got to see him up close and personal at the Senior Bowl way back in the day before he got drafted by the Saints. I like the dude. I like Davenport a lot. I think we're all going to be very happy with what we see. Hopefully we get a Robert Porcher, Luther Ellis type out of Hutch and Davenport. That's what I'm looking for.
So you know who would be cool than Davenport? Bringing back Matthew Judon. And by bringing back, I mean bringing back Grand Rapids alum, GVSU, or Grand Valley State alum, Matthew Judon, who is on the Patriots, has been disgruntled with, his contract, did show up to camp, did report, so he's not holding out or anything too crazy.
They kicked him out of camp. They kicked him out of practice. Gerard Mayo did, or however you say his first name.
Oh, interesting. And I don't know why, just these last few seconds, I've been starting to buy into this more and more because, Nick, how we talked about this before, Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they were aggressive on this defense. They went up, got Carlton Davis, traded up for Terrion. That's, a couple third-round picks. We know that Brad Holmes is a mastermind with anything past, the third round, essentially. A third round is essentially a first rounder for Brad Holmes. So for him to make those two trades tells me that he wants to make this defense just so superior, so much better than what it was last year, that even if Goff is having a bad day, it'll only take him, 13 points to win the game. So I just have a weird gut feeling that Brad Holmes is going to make just one of those deals where you see it, where it's a perfect one comes to mind, different position, whereas DeAndre Hopkins goes to, when he was traded to the Cardinals, they traded him for a sixth rounder and David Johnson, who was, on his last legs. And it was one of those things whoa, how did DeAndre Hopkins just go for a sixth rounder? So I feel like we're going to see something similar to that, where I guess Kraft would kind of make the move. Mayo also would be involved with that too. But if Judon's get kicked out of practice, He's from Michigan. I don't know if he was born there. He definitely went to Grand Valley State, so may have come from Chicago or Indiana or something like that. But honestly, I would absolutely love it. And the old gut's telling me that Brad Holmes, he's hungry, man.
I will completely and respectfully disagree with every ounce of my being on that. There is no way we trade for someone who needs money. In fact, it's a better opportunity that you get a call or I get a call because we'll go play for $1.50. You know what I mean? You give us $3, I'm in there ready to frickin' tackle Caleb Williams quicker than anything. We ain't trade, man. We still got so many guys we still have to pay. We're gonna have to pay Campbell and Laporta and Gibbs and JMO. Like, we just got so many guys we're gonna pay. There is no way we're gonna go trade for someone who wants a boatload of money. There's just no way. So I think ultimately, what free agents are out there right now? Let's look at that.
It's a good question, Nick.
Stephon Gilmore can't line up at defensive end, can he?
Well, maybe.
No. So flipping back to the Tigers, I do not think we got a good return, boys and girls.
We never do.
I want to say we got a dude that hasn't made it past single A ball and is batting 280. So this is just bits and pieces come from my group chat. I haven't officially dove into it, but the Dodgers do not have good prospects. So we'll see. Classic Tigers move, but at least we got something. Hopefully, whoever we get turns out to be a stud. But I'm kind of glad, knock on wood, because there still is time left, that we didn't trade Scooball. Now, that would be hilarious if we sound the alarms, the breaking news alarms, and he did get traded. But I like Scooball, so I'm glad we're holding on to him. But back to the Lions and John Kaminsky. Yeah, Nick, you made a great point a few minutes ago on this is opening up another spot for someone.
I'm just looking at the remaining defensive line.
Not much.
There's not much. Do you guys know any of these names? Hassan Ridgeway, Lawrence Guy, Brian Moan, Linval Joseph, Al Woods, Mike Purcell, Tyson Alulu.
He was on the Lions last year.
He was a Lion. That's right. Matt Dickerson and Davion Nixon. Does anyone know anything about that?
I knew a few of those guys. Those were guys where it was like,
okay, well, that's who's out there.
Nah.
Oh, never mind.
We'll make it work. But
what's Porsche doing anyway these days? Bring him back, dude. Let's go. We always talk about one guy we want to bring back Porsche.
Porsche was a beast.
Porsche was a beast.
So one guy I do think that could take Kaminsky's spot and who has having a great camp. This dude kind of came out of nowhere. Darius Fountain, wide receiver, kind of fighting for this last spot, maybe even wide receiver 3 spot because it's so open there. So boys, I guess, are we still confident? Because I do believe that we just kept 5 on our 53 consensus roster. So do we think that, Jamo Amon-Ra, Khalif, Antonio Green, and I guess I don't know, but heating up with this wide receiver 3 battle, do you think that Khalif has it locked down, or do you think Green, Fountain, Kennedy, one of these guys will sneak up and snag that spot from him?
That's a good question, Julius.
I love that, Nick. That's a good question for Julius.
I mean, Fountain just got to see a little more in game speed. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I feel like Khalif, he just knows the offense. He's been there. He's been our number 3, our number 4, our number 5 special teams ace. I think he's just the ideal wide receiver 3 on this team. I feel like Antoine Green is emerging, and I really like what I see out of Fountain in camp. I just need to see some more in the preseason and see if he makes the team. I can't really say for certain. I didn't even have him making the roster, so it's going to be a surprise player on my list.
He is – what are we – God, Brad Holmes and getting receivers. Outside of the draft, getting receivers is fucking bad. Fontaine or Fountain, whatever his name is, has played in the league for 6 years and has 2 receptions. 2 receptions on 3 targets. And he's our leading candidate for wide receiver 3, dude, over Khalif. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Oh, DPJ. How could I forget? Yes.
Like, what? Antoine Green, what is going on with our wide receiver 3 scares the shit out of me. I've said it all offseason. I continue to say we still need to add to that position. I am not banking. If St. Brown or JMO gets injured and Fountain and Donovan Peoples-Jones are our top 2 wide receivers, or Tom Kennedy, like, we're screwed, dude. Like, that's not how you just can't win like that. I don't know, unless he comes out to be like a Jawan Jennings for the Niners. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And that could be great. I hope it is. I hope he's great. I hope all these reports are great, but these are all just articles from other people's eyes. I need to see something. And this is going to be freaking the New York Giants preseason week 1. I want to see Fountain with 5 catches for 85 yards and a tutty in the first half. And then I'm like, well, okay. Now I can simmer some anger towards this position. But for right now, if you're asking me July 30th, if Fountain should be our wide receiver 3, then I'm asking you, don't you think we probably should have addressed a little bit more of this wide receiver position? I don't care if they're 6th on the target list, for Jared Goff. It's risky business.
Boys and girls, our wide receiver 3 is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs. I believe he's not going to be the official wide receiver 3, but I think we're going to see Gibbs have not more targets than Laporta, but he will have more targets than our 3rd leading receiver.
I got a hotter take than that, Adam. I think our wide receiver 3 is going to end up being, later on in the season, especially, Sione Baki.
Spicy.
You guys are spicy. I'm sticking
he's built like a wide receiver running back. I mean, he can catch targets, and he's just like a secret weapon. I feel like he's going to get unleashed out of nowhere. The NFL going to be like, what the fuck? The Lions.
Yaki, what is this dude? I thought he was a safety. I like it. I'm going with Khalif as our wide receiver 3. I like the dude. I drafted him in Scott Fishbowl, so that motherfucker better be wide receiver 3.
Yeah, I did too. So, yes, if he pans out, win for us both. But unfortunately, someone came out with Scott Fishbowl rankings. I don't know if you saw this, Nick, but someone ranked like the entire 3,400 field.
I got to be last on that list.
And I couldn't figure out how to look at just the list, but you can like find your league name, and I did come in 12th on my league. So they rated my team the dead last in my league. So we'll see. But nonetheless, we got me and Nick in the game fighting for that. And if one of us were to win, you will definitely see a Honolulu Blues party. But let's flip to the defensive side because we've had a lot going on. Terrion and Rakestraw just looking phenomenal. They look like they're just like 2 peas in a pod now. I feel like they have just some great chemistry, which is what you absolutely need. And then Brian Branch making the move to safety. I know we didn't really get a chance to talk about it last show, but Julius, what are some of, I guess, your thoughts? Do you think he's going to make a transition like smooth as butter, or do you think, there'll be a few bumps in the road, the first 4 or 5 games?
Oh, he's played safety before. He was a safety coming out of college. I think I mentioned this on last show, but I believe that it frees up Brian Branch. He can do more at strong safety. He can come down and run support. He can play in man, which we know Aaron Glenn wants to do more of this year. He can match up all over the field. He can roam. He could be a linebacker type presence at times, especially in like dimes and 3rd downs. I think it frees up Brian Branch's range to be more around the field, more around the ball. I think it's going to be a pretty seamless rollover, and it could be the change that we look back on and like, oh wow, that was the greatest decision of all time. He could be an all-pro safety right out the back, if you ask me. I think Brian Branch, out of everybody that's slept on our team, he's right up there at the top of being the most slept on. Maybe just off 1 year of service, but I think moving to safety was the better thing. We can find other players. Amir Robertson. Emmanuel Mosley he's the starting nickel right now in camp. I don't know how long that's going to hold, but you could put different guys in nickel, and it kind of locks them into that nickel. This kind of frees Brian Branch, and I think that's only going to be good for him and good for the Lions defense.
Yeah, Brian Branch, he's going to be Brian Branch will be like Earl Thomas and Kirby. No, Brian Branch will be like Cam Chancellor, and Kirby will be like Earl Thomas. Instead of the Legion of Boom, this is the Legion of
Doom.
Fill in the blank. Legion of Doom. Oh, I love it, dude. Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. So give me the Legion of Doom. Brian Branch will be great at safety. Don't worry about it.
Oh, damn. You know what I just realized? Oh my gosh, this is so cool. So now I can, this is complete side tangent for all you non-Marvel heads, I'm sorry. But Robert Downey Jr. announced as Dr. Doom. And as you guys know, my last name is Stark, Tony Stark. So now I'm not only related to Iron Man, but now I have some Dr. Doom in my blood as well.
Oh, this is your origin story, bro.
Yes.
Villainry out of here.
But yeah, Brian Branch, my one comp, and it's a big comp, and I did this with Amon-Ra. I compared him to Larry Fitzgerald, who's one of the best wide receivers of all time. Brian Branch gives me Ed Reed vibes of where he will just be all around the field. Now, Ed Reed's probably top 3 best to do it of all time. Huge comparison. But with what we saw last year, just him getting, a couple interceptions, that pick 6 right off the gate in Kansas City, I feel like he's just going to have a knack for the ball. And then not to mention, I think we're going to see some safety blitzes where he's just got the speed coming around on the edge, sprinting right up the middle. And I think we are going to see a not Ed Reed player, but a player that, can make Ed Reed-esque plays from time to time. And if you can do that from time to time, oh, buddy, you're a superstar. And I know that's some high praise for Brian Branch, but man,
we clipping this part of the show, dude. We putting this out online. What people reaction.
I want to see him have 8 interceptions this year, a just insane 2 pick 6s, just be all over the field. But hey, man, while we're at it, Jack Campbell, Ray Lewis 2.0, not going that far, but. Honestly, I love this transition. I feel like this was the perfect situation to happen. The Lions bring in just a plethora of cornerbacks. We added 3 new guys that could be, CB1 caliber players. And we get Branch, who has played the position, has not just played the position, at just a normal D1 school. He played under Nick Saban at Alabama, which is the probably closest you can get to, pro level competition playing over there in the SEC, unless you're Michigan. But nonetheless, Brian Branch, I feel like he's going to be a just superstar, and I feel like he is going to be a better safety than he would have been at cornerback. And I'm not just saying this because he made the change. I do feel like that he's more of just a free-range roaming type dude, can make a beat on the ball, just kind of ball hawk type player.
Never mind. I was going to try to make some Hawk Tua thing.
I knew you were going to say something.
I was trying to think it real quick. It didn't make it out. It's okay. Yeah. What's next? Brian Branch. He's great.
All right. So a couple of little things. We signed a German defensive tackle, which was kind of interesting. Do you guys know that the NFL has this kind of, I don't want to say partnership or deal or pathway? That's what it is. A international pathway. So I feel terrible. Pardon me for not remembering this guy's name, but German defensive tackle. He did play with the Commanders 2 years ago. Didn't really play a whole lot. Still young. His video he made when the Lions signed him was pretty sweet. Kind of got me hyped. He embraced the Lions culture. So this is a guy that hopefully, if anything, he is just bringing a little hey, Amon-Ra in German, just speaks it fluently to him, and they can, go back and forth. But flip it to another topic because I'm not the biggest.
Real quick, his name was David Bada, by the way.
Yes, David Bada. That's it. And David, what a German name.
I know.
But another guy who has been having a good camp, Jared Goff. He came out to reporters, said he feels like he's in the prime of his career. I feel like a lot of quarterbacks would say that, but with Goff and what he did last year, just the enhancement of weapons, dude's getting better. He knows, Gibbs going to take a step forward. If J-Mo can just take this next step, oh my gosh, we could be seeing a Goff MVP year. And yes, I did already bet on Goff to win the MVP, not because I truly think he will win it. I kind of do, but the MVP goes often to the best team's quarterback. We've seen that kind of often. If, the number one team out there or a team that starts out, 11-1 or something ridiculous, and the dude plays great. it was interesting because Brock Purdy had it for a while. 49ers were one of the best teams out there. And then the Ravens come and beat the hell out of him. Lamar Jackson stole it from out under him. So Jared Goff, are we expecting an MVP type of season, or do you guys expect the run game to be more impactful, leading to Goff just being more of a facilitator?
I'm expecting a bigger passing year. I believe we did the over-under. Yeah. I think Jared Goff is going to have a better statistical year than he did last year, like more production. Just another year with Ben Johnson's offense. That's really what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Ben Johnson, Jared Goff connection. I feel like they both kind of improve together by the year, that the more years they're together. So I think Nick had us having more rushing production. And so you had Jared Goff's numbers being a little down. And since we're the Lions and we're already getting lowballed in the top 100, I doubt Jared Goff is going to be an MVP conversation later in the year, even if he's having a great statistical year. Like, oh, yeah, he's just Jared Goff on the Lions. Nobody cares. Unless we, go undefeated, 17-0, then you got to give Jared Goff the MVP, right, NFL, right?
What's going to happen is we're going to go 17-0. Jared Goff will be the MVP, but instead of voting for him, they're going to be like, but wait. Sauce Gardner had 29 pass deflections. Give him the MVP. It's the only thing that matters in the NFL these days, dude. Sauce Gardner's going to win the MVP over Jared Goff, and it'll be the only time a quarterback doesn't win the MVP in the last 49,000 years. So Jared Goff should have MVP type season. Our team will not lose a game. He is going to be dominant. It's writing. It's a great bet. Bet on Goff to win MVP. Right now, I bet the odds are quite low. So
you know what's crazy? When you said that, Nick, he's plus 2,500. So when you said that no quarterbacks won MVP, my first instinct was Calvin didn't win MVP when he had that 1,900-yard season. And it was only because I believe it was either Adrian Peterson's 2,000-yard season, but I almost positive it was when Peyton Manning threw for 55 touchdowns on the Broncos. So that would make perfect sense. But Barry Sanders, we still got our non-MVP.
He didn't even win it by himself, though. They were like, "We'll give it to Brett Favre and Barry Sanders."
Right? Yeah, they're calling.
The last time a quarterback didn't win MVP was 2012, Adrian Peterson. Before that was 06, LaDainian Tomlinson, and 05, Sean Alexander. And then 2000, Marshall Faulk. There was a lot of running backs actually in that era. Terrell Davis, 98. Sanders in 97. Brett Favre in 97.
Jahmyr Gibbs, 2024.
Hey. But yeah, it's been since 2012. So what? It's been 11 years. Right now, this is going on the 12th year. It's going to be a quarterback. And I swear to God, Jared Goff will be the best quarterback in the NFL with the most stats, with the best stats. And they're going to give it to Caleb Williams because he painted the nails MVP or something like that.
I don't know, man. I feel like part of me is they're still going to hate on the Lions. But once we get enough primetime games under our belt, generates enough revenue for the NFL, and they're like, whoa, this team's making us some money. Maybe.
Hell no. No. If the Lions do that, we still going to get hated on. We're going to be the Caitlin Clark of the NFL. We're going to be America's team. We're going to be America's darling, bringing in all the money, all the prime time. And they're going to be like, you're taking away all the spotlight from the rest of us, Lions.
Julius is killing it today. Oh my God, dude. I do think that we are going to be starting to become we're not going to have that time. Last year was when everyone loved us. We start doing really good again this year. People are going to start to hate us. People don't want to see other teams be successful for consecutive years. They want to see that one-year wonder. There will be more fans rooting for Houston than there are Detroit. We had our shot last year. That was our. Now we're going to be looked as villains, which we are.
Yeah,
which is
we're villains now.
That's a good point. Yeah, which I absolutely don't mind. But before we wrap it up here, let's talk a little preseason because we are right around the corner from that first game. Nick, I guess it's kind of easy to say a single player. So let's go a position. What position are you going to see? Because I believe we would probably all say we want to see Hendon Hooker play a little bit. But if you're going Hendon Hooker, you're going with Nate Sudfeld and whoever our third quarterback is that we signed and have played that game. So would that make your decision sway into another position like some of the wide receivers, defensive tackles, or any other group?
Sure. And next week, if you tune in, we'll be doing nothing but predicting and or talking about the upcoming preseason game. So tune in for that. But as a teaser today, I will talk about with the position we talked about a little bit earlier. That is Mr. Fountain and Fanta, however you say his name, and Khalif Raymond and Antoine Green and Tom Kennedy and Donovan Peoples-Jones. I do not want to see Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jamison Williams in this game at all. Last year's, I think, first preseason game, we had Jamison Williams play through the third quarter or whatever.
He got hurt in the preseason.
Yeah, what the fuck? So he's out. St. Brown's out. Let me see every single wide receiver. That even includes a couple of – who's the Illinois kid that we got that's doing all right? He looks Isaiah Williams, I think, or something like that.
Isaiah Williams.
There's a ton of wide receivers all the way from first snap to last snap. We have wide receivers on our depth chart. There is no – I don't think there's – outside of Khalif, JMO, and St. Brown, there is no guarantee that DPJ makes it, that Antoine Green makes it, that Tom Kennedy makes it, that Fountain makes it, that Williams makes it. There is no set in stone, and there is at least 2 more wide receivers to be found. It could be fun. It is my favorite position I'm going to be watching the first preseason game.
I like it. Julius?
Like positions, my favorite
Any
position.
single position.
One
gotta go with one position.
One position.
In the preseason, right?
First preseason game.
I'm gonna be having an eye on the linebackers. I feel like our defense is huge this year, and I mean, Jack Campbell said that they have a goal to be the best defense in the NFL. I want to see if this is real. Now, Jack Campbell, he's kind of like a JMO type. Don't have him out there too long, but Derek Barnes, Anzalone, those guys, I think it could literally be one of the best, if not the best, linebacking crew in the NFL, especially if Campbell takes the next step, which is really what I want to see. Go Lions, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch. It would just be too many players in the back of my head, and they're all being slept on by the media, and I just want to.
Other linebackers
no injury preseason, boys. No injuries.
Other linebackers out there that we'll probably be seeing is like Germ, Rodrigo, Ben Niemann, Deron Gilbert,
Malik Jefferson, Deron Gilbert, Ben Niemann mentioned. But my position that I'm going with, I think I'm going to get you on this one. You guys are going to be like,
it better be the position I'm thinking of.
Kicker, baby. I want to see what Jake Bates can do in a live.
Riley Patterson's a free agent again. Bring him back.
Yes, man. And same with James Turner, I believe. James or Jacob Turner. Turner we'll go with. Former Michigan kicker.
Jacob Turner was a pitcher for the Tigers.
Packers got him. Then they just released him today. It was kind of ironic how him and Riley Patterson got waived in the last 2 days. So the Lions, all of a sudden, we have some more options. We don't have to essentially go with these, UFL kickers, Matt Amendola, but I do believe that we are going to bring back one of those two, Turner or Patterson. They just spent time, I guess Patterson was longer with the Lions, but Turner, he was with us for a little bit. I don't really think he was with us in any type of training aspect, but I'm sure he had a I mean, I can't really say that. There's no place for him to learn. So it doesn't matter if you had a playbook or not. The old fake field goal, you never know. But yes, I want to see Jake Bates be consistent with not just field goals, but extra points. I feel like that's what everyone's biggest concern is about, the extra points, because in college, you still have that chip shot. It's, extra points are easy. I believe in the UFL, I don't think they were as long as the NFL, as an NFL extra point. So if Jake Bates can start his season off 3 for 3 on extra points and just looking good, then that will be a nice reassurance to what he's done so far.
Make sure to tune in next week because we didn't even go over the cornerbacks that we should be able to see in game 1, which there's a ton of them, probably the rookies, running back position, the backup of that, our backup offensive lineman. There's a ton of stuff to see in this preseason game. Tune in next week so you can hear all of our thoughts before it happens.
So, yeah. Oh, wow. That's interesting. I want to say, it's from the 2-yard line. So, and in the UFL, I kick it. So it's not chip shot. So he's only been hitting chip shots for extra points. And so now, big time, baby. Let's see what you got, Jake Bates.
We'll see.
But boys and girls, as always, go.